Hey friends, it is March officially still. I got 2 more days before it turns into April. So I'm gonna do the March garden tour today. There's not much going on, but we'll take a look and see where all the planters are. We'll kind of look at this construction project in front of me and go from there. Okay, we're gonna start every garden tour in my backyard. I'm standing at my back door. This is right off my back door. This is my deck in all her construction glory. This used to be my bed that had mostly shade for things like celery and lettuce, but it's coming apart. This used to be a bed where I had flowers and beans. It's coming apart, and this is all going to be kind of transformed with a new fence in here. So this will look different. So right here is nothing but dirt. On the deck are just planters with dirt in them. Nothing going on really here at all. But when we make our way into the backyard here, I have got these planters on this side. This is the west side of my yard. And these planters are 16 feet long. I have got prize head lettuce planted in the bottom right now. And I have got garlic planted along the back and the front of this one on top. So the garlic is popping out. This lettuce is okay. It did get bit by the frost last night. Some of it worse than others. You can kind of see he looks okay. He looks terrible. Okay, 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 terrible. So we'll see how those kind of bounce back. Up on top, I do have winter sow containers, which I'm not really sure a whole lot of anything is going on in these yet. It's a little bit early. I thought I saw one with something, but that might have been wishful thinking. When Eleanor, she's like, listen, Mom, the green grass is on this side. I know. I don't care. Go ahead. Okay, right here in this corner, I've got all these pots right here. There's some coneflower in here that comes up every year. I've got some snapdragons alive in there still. And I do have this chicken wire up around here because I planted beet seeds in this green stalk and some chamomile. And this one is empty, but I'm going to fill that one up in the next day or two with some peas. So I'm going to work that chicken wire around there to keep the sparrows from eating all the little baby greens. Back in here in the chicken coop. Hi, ladies. They're doing a great job on this compost pile. Here, I'll zoom you in a little bit. Maybe I'll zoom you in a little bit. There you go. You can see like they're just picking apart this. There's such good compost back here now. They got popcorn from the game. So that's the remaining pile back there. They're still knocking down. Like I said, it got cold this week here, so it is a little frozen still. So I'm not worried too much about the compost pile. I'm gonna let them knock all this down. And once it's totally thawed out, I will go ahead and top off my garden beds with the good compost, put the rest back in there, and put the boards back up. But there is a big 14-foot long trench along that fence right there. There's soil all in here, so I can go things up this cattle panel. So I'm going to come in here and clean out all this ivy and stuff, and I will probably plant either spring peas back there or I don't know. But it's 14 foot and it's about 4 inches wide, so it's got to be something that climbs. And then once I get this compost cleaned up, this will be later in the season. Hey girls, I will dedicate some of this space to the chickens, but I will put some perennial flowers and herbs back in here. And I will fill this wheelbarrow with soil again and some zinnias or something. What is your deal? I'm allowed to be here. I feed you. I know. This is the east side bed right here. This is also 16 foot long. This one is 2 foot wide. Right now it's kind of housing all the things that I want off my deck while we do construction. When I clear this off, it will be home to my heirloom tomatoes, but there's nothing growing here right now. Take a look at these snapdragons though. These snapdragons got bit by the frost last night, but there's still, look at that, new baby green snapdragons. This snapdragon overwintered right here next to the chicken coop in Michigan, zone 6. I'm super excited about it. Here on the driveway side, I've got these grow bags right here. Those are all empty. I've got a trellis strung up on these old ladders. I might rework this, or I might leave it this way and just do something like potatoes in there. I have not decided. Look at this parsley. This parsley overwintered. She's shooting out new growth. I love her. She's beautiful. These beds are 6 foot. Got one here and one down there. They're the same size. They are planted with kohlrabi in the front, which is not up, and peas, which are also not up. Bummer. In the middle here, this bed is 12 feet. It's about 2 foot across and about maybe 18 inches deep. We just built this last year, and I did plant radishes in here and spinach. Again, neither one of those are up yet, but it has been very cold. I'm not really expecting a lot. Here's the second bed. Nothing over here either. Oh, yes, there is. Look at. Do you see this little guy right here? That's a pea. Okay. Listen, I'm more excited now. There's peas. In here, I'm going to clean these all up eventually, but I'm going to leave them alone until the threat of really cold weather is done. And then I'll go ahead and thin these guys out and take some of these babies, the succulents thrown off, these little chicks and hens, and I will put them into other holes. My goal is to fill everything in here with succulents, things that do not need water, because they are the only thing that seems to do really well in there. Over here on the end, this bed is approximately 4 foot by 3 foot. It has 3 tiers to it, and the only thing that's planted in it right now is these dianthus, these sweet williams in the corner. And they're coming up. And then over here in the end, looks like I got some irises, a little bit of frost damage coming up. I did plant a couple hostas in here last year, but this is our driveway. They get trampled on a little bit. I don't really see them coming back a whole lot, but maybe they'll surprise me. I don't know. Out front here gets a lot of sun, almost all day sun right now, because the tree on top of it is not leafed out yet. So this is actually pretty exciting. I've got crocuses. Hey, babies. Aren't they pretty? Iris is popping up, and I got tulips coming up. So that looks like spring right there. And then over here in these buckets, I've got one here and one over there. And this is my hydrangea starting to bloom out. Hey, pretty girl. Look at all those buds. Hydrangea is one of my Busha's favorites. We lost her last year about this time. And these 2 hydrangeas were actually flowers that we bought for her funeral services that I kept in my yard with the express purpose of being, you know, just I'd look at it and think of my Busha. So I'm so happy they made it through the winter. I got tulips in here too. There's a couple popping up. And then I did the same thing over here. I've got the hydrangea. This one's budding out too. No leaves in this one yet. And the tulips are all popping. This is going to be really pretty in another couple of weeks here. On this side over here, tulips and irises coming up. I got some of that lamium. This right here is lamium. And it is, it can be invasive, so I've got to really kind of keep it into check. See how it's growing up here and into that way. I'll pull it all back in the spot again. And then I got my yellow crocuses. And back there, it looks like I got daffodils and tulips coming up. What else is back here? This bed right here, I'm going to go ahead and say it's maybe 10 foot. About that long. This is where I can grow things up. I've just got, I just put logs back here and raised the level up so that things there would get sun over top of these bushes, because I don't want to take these bushes out. I've grown cucumbers here for a couple years. I think I'm going to flip it up this year and do beans. But there's a whole bunch of flowers back here too. Beautiful. And then this is my clematis, which I've had for a couple years, and it looks incredibly dead, but it will be beautiful shortly. Watch and see. Over here in the corner of my yard, I have got a honeysuckle that's growing up in the middle and it splits both ways. I'm gonna have to tie this guy up a little bit better. And then down here I have got tulips and some more of that lamium. And somewhere in here there are 2 peonies, one on this end and one on that end. Now, this is the 3rd year for them to come up. I'm not seeing them. I don't really know where they went, but my husband has run them over with a lawnmower 2 years in a row. So if they don't come back, that's probably on him. And he has no one to blame if I buy myself another one, right? Right. Okay. This part of the garden, this corner here, I reworked this year. It is still a little bit of work in progress. We'll kind of start here. I put all these logs in here to kind of make a round bed, and I'm going to dump everything here in there and fill this up with soil. Instead of using as many grow bags, I want to make more planters. I did the same thing back here. I got this big log. It goes all the way down. Traffic, welcome to city. And this is raised up. I'll add some more soil here. This is where I'm going to do cucumbers this year instead. I've done tomatoes here in the past, but I'm going to do cucumbers here. I'm going to do probably flowers and perennials in here. Bird bath. These are all my lilies. Let's scooch in a little bit. I transplanted them. I had them in different areas of the yard, but I decided to put them all together here and see how they do. There's nothing in the middle here. I'm not sure if I'm going to put something here, if I'm going to leave some space to put a chair maybe. I'm not really sure. I've got a couple planters back here. This one has got yarrow in it. I have this crazy overgrown thing of yarrow. It needs to be thinned badly. And this I don't think it's got anything that's going to come back in it. I'll just plant some kind of flowers in here probably. Down here, look at these tulip, the flower edges, or the leaf edges. They're just as pretty as the dang tulips, aren't they? With the pretty pink on the outside. They're just gorgeous. Here's some too. Aren't they pretty? I got all kinds of succulents and little chicks and hens in here that need to be cleaned up. All this dried stuff right here needs to be cleaned up. It's a coreopsis plant. There's some more crocuses, some sedums, crocuses, and there's quite a few tulips in here this year. Now I just leave these in to multiply. More tulips. Tulips, tulips, tulips. This whole area is kind of crazy looking because this is where I pulled the lilies out. It needs something, but I don't know what yet. My hose reel will go right there, so we'll kind of wait and see. Okay, so we're kind of over in this area now. Let's go backwards a little bit so you can kind of see. This is the side of my house facing west. I kind of leave a path here to walk up so that I can go up on the top there. Back behind there is a whole elevated row. Built a berm back there and then used this piece of lumber to kind of shore it up. And it looks insane, but this pot, this round one, and this one will get moved. And across the front of this will all be perennial herbs. So I have got a thyme, oregano, sage, lavender. In the back, I've got irises, and then I have phlox on either side of this bird bath. And then here, oh, you can see that phlox coming up. Look how cool that looks coming up. Isn't that beautiful? And then right here is Busha's rosebush. This is rescued from her house before we sold the house. And you can see I've got lots of green growth. I got some dead stuff. I'm gonna have to prune it back hard. I'm gonna have to do some research. I don't know what kind of rose it is, which is the hard thing. I don't want to prune it too much and hurt it. So I'm gonna have to do some research, but I'm confident that that is gonna grow beautifully up the side of the house. I've got some hooks to put in the siding, so when it gets bigger, it can go up the house. And this railing that's in front of it is from her house as well. So I love that. These bushes are great. They stay green all year. They're never gonna go away. In the front here, I have got some more. Look at these guys. That's the happiest thing I've ever seen in the spring, really. Like, look at that. It's so pretty. And this pretty colored foliage right here, this is actually a wild geranium. And it gets really pretty and green again once spring hits. Hey, little crocuses. All right, these crocuses make me happy. I've been kind of crappy this week, I'm gonna be honest. Right here, this is actually a lupine that'll grow. Some more tulips. And then this area right here is kind of all one grouping that I kind of look at. So I've got some parsley in here, and there's also delphiniums in there, that lupine. These right here are feverfew. And then I've got some chive here, some savory, and I think this is a thyme plant. I think probably just wild thyme. That's the air conditioner. I got a little pretty fence to go in front of it there. So this needs a little bit of help. Then this is kind of like the third section of that area where this next row of bushes in until we get to the gate in the back. Right behind here, I'm going to step up and you can kind of see behind, maybe. I've got these 3 pots, and I've got these 3 boards that are going to make a teepee right here, and I'm going to have a bean teepee. And then this is the new planter we built last year. I've got to fill that up, and I'm going to plant that with flowers this year. So I'll have a big, tall thing of flowers right in front of the house. This ladder, same kind of situation as the beans. It's got a big potter down there. I'm going to plant hyacinth bean there, that really pretty purple bean. It's not edible, it's just for looks and birds, but I really like it a lot. And it's in an out of the way spot. Look, you can see into the grow room. Hello, little tomato babies. All right, in the back corner over here, in the back, I do have like a squarish kind of bed. I can grow something up this tree limb, some kind of bean, or up this old baker rack. I did beans last year. I'm going to try and get the tithonia back here. Underneath that grow bag, there's a hole in there I can plant inside there. And then I also have these 2 planters. So the goal here is always to plant something in the ground here with some color. There's usually a lot of snapdragons in here. Some kind of annuals here in the corner. And then something to go up and kind of trail. So we'll see how that goes. The last part of the garden is the back corner here. This fence right here and the garden. This back fence over here, I've got salvia in the corner by this ladder. And then in here, I have got all of my tulips. And I've got these, I think they're called Star of Jerusalem. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I like these little grassies. They make little white flowers, and then they stay grassy for most of the season. And they were put here by my mother-in-law before I ever even moved in. There's a bunch more. These things that are all cut up right here, I'm going to come in and clean these up. These are all cone flowers. More tulips. Oh, that pink on the end just undoes me. It's so pretty. These were old zinnias. This really needs to clean up, but whoa, what's been digging in here? That ain't good. That's my chicken coop. All right, good to know. Some more tulips. And then down on the end, I forget the name of this plant. It shoots up little yellow flowers. It's really, really pretty. But then I'm also going to put a whole row of sunflowers all the way down. Oh look, Brent's home. Time to work on the fence. Out here in this garden, this is 10 foot wide by 30 feet long. And the only thing planted in it right now is garlic, which you can see coming up. There they are. Hey, baby garlics. So I've got a couple rows of them right here on the end. My thought process is I'm gonna let these guys come up here. We pull garlic about the 4th of July. So I could plant a couple winter squash in here and let them start to size up. And when I pull the garlic, they'll have plenty of room here on the end to do their thing. As I go down here, I usually grow things all the way around, like marigolds or onions, things that are pest resistant or have got a strong smell to them. I did cover this in a lot of leaf mulch. This will take a lot of cleanup for me this next couple weeks here. And we're gonna see a lot of things in here that are cold hardy, a lot of beans, a lot of peppers, but right now its only inhabitants are the garlic right here. Okay, there wasn't a ton of great things to look at there, but that's what the March garden looks like. I'm gonna head back to construction, and Brent and I are gonna start putting that fence together. Have a great day.